fire examinations where each of you are going to ask 6 questions each. You can shake hands if you want. Sure. All right. Sure.
Mohammed Hijab, before the debate, not so much. He wouldn't even shake your dirty kafir hand.
Oh, yeah, you saw that video.
Yeah, I did see that. And, you know, I think Ali Dawa, I think he was proud of it because he put it on his channel and said Wood tries to shake Hijab's hand. Well, the moderator says you can shake hands. He says, that's all right. The guy suggested shake hands. It wasn't like you're like, hey, what's up? You know, and he plays you out, and you're like, the guy said you can shake hands. So again, he's more cordial. And
he was emphasizing, you know, being respectful and no insults, no personal attacks, no going off topic, things like that. And so he wanted to, hey, you know, let's you guys shake hands and stuff.
And he says, that's all right. Yeah. That's all right.
Hey, I don't know if people noticed, Mohammed Hijab that's a huge dude.
I heard he's 6'6", right?
I'm 6'3", and he had about a good 3 inches on me. So yeah, he's in the 6'6" range.
Okay, so check this out now. Looking here, you know, that's how things began. But what were the rules that were being discussed? I didn't play them all, but you had prior conversations. The rules were being discussed. People need to hear this. What were the rules, David?
Well before the debate, Mohammed Hijab told me I had to contact the MSA to go over what they were saying and stuff. And it was, we want a respectful debate. We don't want any personal attacks or insults.
I think David Wood has said some career-ending, embarrassing statements today. I mean, to be honest with you, after 20 years of researching Islam, you come with this.
No going off topic, things like that. And so I said, well, I didn't plan on doing any of that. And, you know, I don't have a problem with any of that in previous debates. And so that was beforehand. So that's what we had to agree to beforehand. And in the video Ali Dawa posted, they tell us the rules right beforehand. We want this to be respectful, no insults, no going off topic. The only things you're allowed to address are Trinity and Tawheed. And he said, if you step outside those, if you step over that line, then I'll stop you and give you a warning and 3 warnings, and you lose your time or something like that. You lose the rest of your whatever presentation you're giving right there. So something like that.
So it's supposed to be, hey, you know, these are the rules, and I'll stop you if you don't, right?
Yeah.
And so no personal insults.
Yeah.
I just want to review this because it's so different from what actually happened.
Yeah.
Right? You also got no going off topic. So was there a third thing? No insults, personal attacks, things like that, but no going off topic or stepping outside of the topic, Trinity versus Tawheed. So if you start talking about something else, then he was gonna stop it and give you a warning. Was that expressed clearly just that time? Was there another time as well?
Well, no. Again, we had to. That's what we talked about. I forget how long it was, whether it's a week or 2 weeks or whatever before the debate when they're setting it up. So we had to agree to that for them to even set up the debate. So then they set it up, and then they laid it down to us when we got there.
Okay, well, that's not how the debate actually went. So once he started his personal attacks, did you think of leaving?
Well, no. Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe this now. So I want to be clear. I don't think that there was a conspiracy now, but when he started, I did. Right when he started in his opening statement, at the end of his opening statement, and he starts, "This man mocks Islam and makes videos." You can see me. I look over at the moderators. I don't try to signal them or anything. I just look over at them, because I'm thinking they're obviously going to say, "Yeah, Mohammed, stop it right now," because you have to, right? Because you have an entire debate, so you have to stop it there in the beginning. And when they didn't, I was actually thinking, "Oh, I got set up, right? I got set up to to get me here." And well, there's a reason for thinking that. Namely, that's happened a bunch of times over the years, right? And not just to me. Before I ever even debated, Jay Smith was going to a debate, and people. A Muslim organization said, "We want to set up a debate with you, Jay Smith." This is back in the 90s. And they said, the man you'll be debating it was something like Abdul Abu Safiya, right? And so they gave him the name. And so they set up this debate. They put the name on the flyers. Jay Smith shows up to the debate, and it's Shabir Ali. Shabir Ali has a daughter named Safiya, right?
Okay.
So Abu Safiya is the father of Safiya, so that's technically his name, right?
Oh.
So they gave him this other name. 2 years later, but Jay Smith went ahead and did the debate. 2 years later, some guy, I think his name's Mark Pickering or something like that, they were setting up a debate, and this was going to be his first debate. He never debated. He asked the Muslim organization to find someone of a similar, guess level to him. So someone
Abu Safiya,
who's totally new. No, it was a different name. It was a different name, but they advertised and stuff. On the day of the debate, he finds out it's Shabir Ali also. right?
So wait,
now,
this is a thing.
Yeah. He did something cool. He said, I'm not debating. You guys deceived me. I'm gone. And he left, right? And so he refused to debate because they deceived him. Now, what's interesting is after that happened, when that was brought up to Muslims, hey, you're deceiving people about the names and so on. And the Muslim response to justify it was, well, when Princess Diana goes by Princess of Wales or whatever, you don't say, oh, you're trying to trick people. That's just another name for her, right? Which is ridiculous, right? No one's confused by these other names, right? Because we know who you're talking about.
Right.
People are confused and deceived if you give another name to Shabir Ali. That was before I started debating. This happens over and over and over again where, hey, here are the rules beforehand. Here's an agreement we're making beforehand. But as soon as we have the opportunity, we're just going to throw that in the garbage. And too bad we tricked you. And if you bring this up, I found from experience, if you bring it up, most Muslims have no problem with it. The issue that concerned me at first was Mohammed Hijab, starting with the personal attacks, and then when he wasn't stopped, and eventually he was. Eventually the moderator did say, hey, stay on topic. But at first when he wasn't, I was thinking setup, right? I was thinking they all conspired. Again, I don't think that now. I got to talk to people afterwards and stuff, so I don't believe that now. But right there during the debate, I was thinking, oh, seriously? You guys just you set this up so that this guy could start with personal attacks, and you get me to agree to it, even though he's just gonna violate it. And if this is basically a charade of a debate, and he wanted to come all the way here to the U.S. just to start and telling me to be more like James White and stuff. You could have done that on YouTube. And so it was, kind of the reason it bothered me is because it had happened so many other times, right? That it happened so many other times over the years that, hey, here are the agreements, and then they fly out the window as soon as the debate starts. His response is, he has no clue what he's talking about. He's blurting out stuff that doesn't do anything to respond to the objections that are being raised. He responds to things that were never said, right? Like I quoted Isaiah 9:6. I quoted Isaiah 9:6, for to us a child is born, to us a son is given. Right. And this child is going to be called the mighty God. And then he responds by, bringing up Emmanuel, right? I didn't bring that up, right? He says, oh, they say David says Emmanuel means God with us, but Elijah, and then he doesn't even get that right? So he doesn't even get that right. And he's responding to something. He said
that Elijah also means God with us, so therefore, Elijah must be God too.
Yeah. So notice, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
By the way, everyone, it means my God is Yahweh.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
So he has no clue what he's talking about. He's responding to something I never said. Christians are thinking, but we don't want people like Mohammed Hijab debating. Right. We don't want people who are up there shouting, insulting, spouting nonsense, working the crowd into a frenzy to cheer on anything he says. We don't want people like that debating. But what I would say is, think about it. That gives people, even Westerners, a much better glimpse of the real heart of Islam, right? Than Shabir Ali. I mean, seriously, do you think Shabir Ali, using hyper-skeptical textual critics and stuff like that, all of them would regard the Quran as complete nonsense, but he doesn't apply the same reasoning to the Quran. That him going in there, calmly presenting these skeptical positions, rejecting hadiths, having unorthodox views of do you think that is a good reflection of Islam? Or do you think it's stirring up the mob? Right?
Shabir Ali, he ain't getting no Allahu Akbar. Shabir Ali, he's not going to get any takbirs, which happened at least twice that I heard during the debate last night. There's 2 times that I think there was a takbir Allahu Akbar call and response that I heard of from the crowd. By the way, Elvis Bose in the super chat, I want to read this. Greetings from Brazil. My wife left Islam and embraced Jesus because of you guys. Praise God. Elvis, praise God. That's a testimony. We'd love to hear more about it. Praise God. Everyone pray for Elvis's wife because she's on the journey of discipleship. Praise God. Okay, so that's an interesting perspective, David. So
anyway, the point there is, we don't like that approach, but that's the heart of Islam right there. So let Westerners see that, right? When you want to set up a debate on your college campus or something like that, invite Mohammed Hijab, right? Let him blast the speakers, right?
David Wood booking gigs for Mohammed Hijab.
Let him insult people. Let him give horrible arguments that shows he's completely ignorant of the topics he brings up. There are Muslims in the crowd who will cheer no matter what he says, no matter how ridiculous it is. There are people who will watch on YouTube and think, he clearly shouted the other guy down. So wow, he was much more powerful. But the people who are actually paying attention and following arguments will be horrified at that. But they're going to learn something. They're going to learn something about Islam.
So you think it's good, even if maybe they're not as educational in the formal sense of didactic knowledge, those kinds of debates with more lay level popular grassroots Islamic apologists are educational because they show the sort of the behavior and ethos of sort of a large, vibrant section of Muslims.
Yeah, let me put it a little differently. When Shabir Ali is the Muslim debater that people see on college campuses, people are getting a false impression of what Islam is like, right? When someone like Mohammed Hijab or something like that comes on, I'm not shaking your hand, right? No, that sort of thing.
That's by the way, that's in the Hadith. I mean, I know you know, but I'm just telling everybody else. That's in the Hadith. So do you remember what the reference is or what it says exactly?
No.
Someone look that up. But anyways, go ahead.
So the idea is someone like Mohammed Hijab shouting people down, putting the kuffar in their place, breaking the rules because the Christians are just scum anyway. That person gives people a true impression of Islam, and we don't want that because we don't want to see people shouting other people down or insulting people. But that gives you a much better glimpse of what Islam actually is like. And when you see the crowd cheering for that, you realize the people like that more, right? And just to be clear, we're not talking about all Muslims here, right? There were again the head of the Muslim Students Association. He did not like that. He told the people to stop. There are Muslims who do not like that. I'm saying that Islam, on just by probabilities here, it produces far more people with that mindset, and people need to be aware of it because it's in a different category and it's not nearly as serious. But in Muslim countries where you criticize Muhammad and a crowd stirs up and beats you to death in the streets, right? It's completely different. But the mob mentality that it produces is part of Islam, and that's why it will do it anywhere. And we shouldn't be trying to cover that up. So I know there are people who don't like Mohammed Hijab, who don't want to see him given a platform. But you need to be thinking about whether people are actually going to be educated about Islam. So I would say, let him do it. Let him spout a bunch of nonsense. Let the crowd cheer for all the ridiculous things he's saying, and then dissect them afterwards, right? And expose them.
Well, we're trying to dissect them afterwards. So I put out a video that shows how a lot of stuff that he said about the lack of attestation to the Holy Spirit's deity or eternality is not present in the Ante-Nicene Church Fathers, for example, as well as some other things showed how that was incorrect, and he got it all wrong. I'm getting hit on YouTube with a privacy violation. Is that what's going to happen? I mean, the attitude that was displayed in the pre-debate interviews was sort of MMA-ish, WWE-ish, and yet then you make a 6-8 minute video criticizing. And by the way, same thing happened to Islam Critiqued. Took him to town on his language blunders. Then they're going to try to get the videos taken down. What's that all about?
Yeah, guys, this is pay attention to this, and this will be worthy of like a separate video, right? To repeat, Vocab and Islam Critiqued took some clips of what Mohammed Hijab said and then made videos responding to it, right? Responding to his arguments or challenges. And he filed privacy or copyright violations.
It was a privacy complaint.
With YouTube saying that content has to be removed. Now, think about this, right? He's basically saying you can't take a clip of him and respond to it, even though, I mean, has he put me in his clips? I'm assuming he has, right?
Yeah. They love the picture of you in a certain outfit, for example.
Oh, yeah, when we're making fun of Muhammad?
Yeah, they love, because I watch their stuff.
They do that.
They've done that to you, yes.
Now, think about this. There are thousands, probably tens of thousands of Muslim videos, taking clips of my videos and responding to them, right? It's never once crossed my mind, I need to file copyright, with YouTube or privacy claim or something like that. Never crossed my mind, because that would be a coward's move, right? My material's out there. You want to criticize it? Criticize it. Then I'm open to criticism. For Mohammed Hijab to make all these claims and then say, but I have to silence people. I have to shut people down when they're answering the things I've said or showing that the things I've said is false. That is a complete, utter, total coward's move. And I don't care if he's 6'6", he is a coward if he's having people take down these kinds of videos. I can't think of a Muslim right now that I regard as more of a coward if he's doing that, right? All the Muslims out there, Ijaz Ahmed, Yahya Snow, all of these guys, none of these guys are near the level of coward that this guy is if he's actually trying to have your videos taken down.
Yeah, I put a screenshot of it on Twitter so people can see it. And like I said,
guys, if you see anyone else who does that, because I'll make a separate video out of that. The video will be called Mohammed Hijab is a total coward.
Yeah, so if you guys see that video disappear, it's because YouTube's doing their investigation. They give me a certain amount of time where they say, hey, you can take it down or let it stay, and then we'll investigate it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, but yeah, that's going on as well, trying to silence. I mean, that just seems like bad behavior by that seems like a cheap way to get Sharia almost, like no criticism of your position. Yeah. It's like,
well, first of all, it's totally bogus, right? You guys are using clips of a public debate, right? Not private pictures of him or something like that, or something secret. Right? That's what private. Yeah. using a clip of a public debate, that's called fair use. That is completely, utterly, totally within the rights on YouTube. So he knows it's either he's totally stupid and doesn't know what he's talking about, or he knows that this is completely bogus, right? And he's doing it anyway, hoping that it causes trouble for you at some point. But yeah, that's just a coward's move. But notice it's the same thing, right? Hey, I get to blast you guys, attack you guys, criticize you guys. As soon as you critique what I said back, I run to YouTube like a coward and try to have them take your stuff down. This is pathetic, guys. And for real, I don't know. I mean, this is yelling insults and stuff. That's totally different. This is a different level. If I heard about a Christian doing this, saying, "Oh, he criticized what I said," I'm going to have his stuff taken down. I would think the Christian is a total coward, right? So yeah, this is bad stuff.
And that reminds me sort of in general, sort of the differences in the communities as far as the reactions. If there was a Christian apologist who debated in a similar fashion that Mohammed Hijab did, like wouldn't shake an atheist's hand before a debate, and that video got out. Imagine, Frank Turek won't shake Michael Shermer's hand or something, and that video got out. And then that Christian said things like, "I'm done with this guy. I don't even need more time. I'm done with this guy."
Mm-hmm.
Things like that during the debate. If a Christian said something like, during the Crusades and the Spanish Inquisition, I'm proud of that behavior. I'm proud, kind of like Mohammed Hijab said he was proud of Islam's military victories. He said, we're not ashamed of those, by the way. Anything like that. Most Christian organizations would steer way clear of them. They'd be disinvited, all kinds of things, right? There was sort of be a self-policing action. A few people like Steven Anderson might say, "Hey, you're my guy." They might call him up, right? But by and large, Christians would say, "Hey, you need to cut that out," right? There'd be, you know what I'm saying? How it would be detrimental to their sort of apologetic career. Mohammed Hijab acts this way. You're going to see his star rise. Mm-hmm. Look at the way people are talking about him.
Oh yeah.
So it shows you the differences. It doesn't mean the Christians are perfect or we're a perfect community. No one's saying that. But the self-correction and the like ability to feel guilt or shame for that kind of behavior, it's not there. It's all seen as part of the package. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
And so I guess we should realize that.
Yeah, and that's why I said that people should be fine with him. People like Muhammad getting up on stage and stuff. Say that people like Mohammed Hijab, they're thinking short term. They're thinking, how can I get this victory? How can I shout this guy down or something like that? Not, hey, in the long run, this is disastrous, right? When people pick apart everything I was saying and then show that people were cheering and shouting for absolute nonsense that was completely wrong. They're not thinking like that. They're just thinking like, in the moment, what can I do to shout this guy down? But don't be worried about that. Let them do their shouting. Dissect what they say afterwards. Get it all out there. He's going to throw a tantrum over it. They're going to try and file complaints with YouTube and stuff like that to try and get it taken down. But YouTube's usually pretty good about getting through those things. And so you expose that they're trying to shut the information down. And you get past that and then see people see it. People see what's going on.
Let me just ask a few more questions, David. Some specifics of the debate that I think people might want to know. So just heart to heart, man to man, friend to friend, how do you think and feel about the debate now? From your perspective, not really all the stuff we've talked about. Mm-hmm. Sort of what you did or didn't do, especially, where are you at with that?
Well, when I planned on leaving, and then just put a line real quick where I was supposed to leave after that, and then I didn't, and so I just don't leave. Just you can see where I kind of fumble over my words there at the end, because that's where I was going to leave, and then so I just read something else, and then so I went to some notes and started reading something, and then stopped because it wasn't working. And then I went and sat down, and then I was thinking, why didn't I leave? Why didn't I leave? Why didn't I leave? And so he starts responding, and I'm still thinking, why do I leave? And then he starts up with the insults again and stuff. I'm thinking, do I leave now? Do I walk out now? Well, if I don't say why,
of the rule violation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and, if I just walk out randomly, people think, oh, he's just, he's scared of Muhammad's awesome arguments. I have to say why I'm doing it. So should I do it when I'm speaking next? But basically, for my rebuttals, I was planning on defending the deity of Christ. I was planning on spending a good part of my rebuttals defending the deity of Christ, and in two ways, sort of conceptually and factually. I was going to go through basically four ways historically that we can look to what Jesus claimed to be. Historically, you can look at what Jesus said, you can look at what Jesus did, you can look at what others said about him, and you can look at what others did about him. And if you look at any one of those areas, you find that Jesus was claiming to be far more than a mere human being. If you're looking at his claims, that's easy. If you're looking at the things he did, like performing miracles in his own name or forgiving sins and things like that, and I don't just mean, hey, I forgive you of your sins. He's pronouncing people's sins are forgiven. The religious leaders rightly responded, who can do this but God? If you're looking at what others said about him, that's pretty easy. People were calling him Lord and God. And if you look at what others did about him, you've got basically his followers who ended up bowing down and worshiping him. And you've got the people who rejected him. They're saying he needs to die for blasphemy. This isn't what happened if you're just a normal human being telling people to believe in God, as Islam would expect us to believe. So I thought I could say that pretty quickly, and I intended to. And then I wanted to do something where, I don't know what to call it, maybe a chronology of the Christ or a brief history of God the Son or something like that, where I sort of take them through the biblical passages that talk about, first about his eternal nature, his deity. So, John 1:1, Philippians 2, some of these passages which talk about his eternal nature, and then get to the incarnation and the kenosis. So him self-emptying to take on human nature and become a human being. And then it's in that context of being a human where you find these claims that Muslims like to point to. Oh, he says the Father is greater. Right? Well, of course. What state is he in right now? Right? What state is he in? And then after his resurrection, when he's glorified again, and then so you get to other passages like the end of the Gospel of Matthew, where all authority is given to him in heaven and on earth, right? Because he gets back the glory that he had with the Father from all eternity past. So I wanted to put all these passages together because I thought it would explain a lot of passages that Muslims bring up, and they don't understand how God can say these things because they're not understanding the historical context of them. So I was going to do, that was the plan. But then as all of this was going on, and I still think there's a conspiracy afoot, and that these guys all got me into something here, and he's going on personal attacks and running his mouth, and this isn't the friendly debate that we were demanded to have, the respectful debate that we were instructed to have. This is the first time in my entire life as a Christian where I'm thinking, don't throw pearls before swine. And for people who don't understand, it's not calling people swine. This is called an analogy, right? You're supposed to get this mental picture so that you can understand something else. But Jesus said, don't throw your pearls before swine. And the point there is human beings appreciate pearls, swine don't, right? A pig does not care about a pearl, right? So why would you start trying to impress a pig with a pearl and giving pearls to a pig? But I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, if this is really and this is really an insult battle, a screaming fest, and the crowd is going to mindlessly shout anything Mohammed Hijab says, no matter how ridiculous. That means they're not paying attention. They don't care. They want to see people shouted down. Mohammed Hijab doesn't care. He has no integrity. He's violating the rules. He's not paying attention. Why am I going to share this information that I've come to bring them, assuming that they're actually trying to get to the bottom of this? So instead of going ahead with what I intended to speak on, I thought I will put that in videos for people who actually care. Instead, I'll just respond to some of his responses to some of the passages that I brought up on Tawheed. And then in my second rebuttal, he was making such a big deal about his 4 questions. I thought, okay, I'll answer these 4 questions. And conclusion, as you know, they switched it.
Why did they switch that?
No explanation. No explanation.
So that was just done without. And were they going to skip over yours?
No, they were going to skip my last question. And then I pointed out, hey, you didn't give me my last question. And then then they switched the order, which is for people who don't know about debate. Going first or going second each have a different kind of advantage. Going first, you get to sort of set things up, set the stage, be first to speak. You get to present your case first. Right. The advantage of going second is that you're the one who gets to speak last. You sort of get the last word. So Mohammed Hijab got the first and the last word. Now, to be fair, since talking to the MSA and stuff afterwards, I don't think that was deliberate. I don't think if that's the first debate they've ever hosted, and they're not big on debates and they don't watch debates, they might not know the different advantages, or they might think, oh, okay, well they're going back and forth, so I could just pick one and he can give his conclusion. So they might not know. So I'm not thinking there's anything diabolical there. But yeah, at this time when I'm still in my, hey, there's a conspiracy afoot. It was just in my mind the entire time of, if these guys really just got here for an insult fest, then what I need to do is I need to keep calm, not feed into it, and get through this, respond to the questions and things that I have to respond to. Other than that, not terribly interested. So it affected in that sense. It affected the material I was bringing, and I was not fully engaged. I was not fully engaged mentally after that, it was, hey, you guys got me here. Again, I don't think that was the case now. I don't think it was this big conspiracy, but I think that was Mohammed Hijab's intention, right? Like, we need to get a debate so that we can blast David Wood. Yeah. And I have no problem with that. He could have just said that, right? He could have said, David, I want to come to the United States and stand in front of a camera and tell you what I really think about you. And I was like, fine, that's fine. If he wants to do a live stream where he wants to tell me all his thoughts, fine. You don't make me travel. You don't make me, travel. Because for people, I don't live in New York City anymore, right? I had to drive 7 hours to get there. So not really big on that. So as far as my thoughts on the debate, it's, if his intention were really to just have a debate, that thing would have gone very differently. I would have presented some different things. But I think I think his real goal was to get in this shout fest. Now, he's probably hoping I would join in. I didn't, but he at least had a dual goal, right? At least it's at the best case scenario, it was get some points in against the Trinity and I get to blast David Wood. It's either that or the debate part was just a sham, and the real goal was just to insult. And for just again, in case people are tuning in, I have no problem with the insulting and so on. It's mainly we're setting up a debate, and we're at a college, and there are multiple organizations that are putting this together, and they had demands and say, we have to do this, and we have to be respectful and no insults and things like that, and we agreed to that, and then should just go out and that this is the plan all along. Again, just at the time, I was thinking it was everyone's plan. Towards the end, I'm thinking that's Mohammed Hijab's plan, and the other people just weren't consistent in stopping it.
Be a man of integrity. That's all.
Yeah, it just becomes when someone's doing all the shouting and stuff, it just becomes clear at some point that this is not an actual exchange of ideas and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm fine with that, right? I mean, that's why I'm like Speaker's Corner, where it is a shouting match. I'm fine with that, right?
Well,
I'm fine if people want. Yeah, I'm fine if we want it.
What he did is he brought Speaker's Corner to Queens.
Yeah,
that was his intention the whole time. But let me ask you this, David: would you do it again?
No, I would totally do it again. I would insist beforehand, hey, either don't have rules, right? Either don't have rules about conduct or enforce the rules. And if I understand that it's really a shouting match and we're not really giving information, you'd be more slogan oriented, right? You'd be more slogan oriented than trying to lay out information. But yeah, those are my thoughts, right? I like being in a crowd like that. I have no problem being insulted, but when it was actually going on, I'm still thinking about all the past interactions where Muslims, demand that we agree to rules ahead of time and then completely violate them. And I was thinking I should get out of there. And the whole time why am I not getting out of here and stuff? And I never did. But it does. What kind of the real issue is it just it affects what you're doing, right?
Yeah, it changes the nature, and you have to go at it.
You kind of lose interest, right? It's like your heart's not in it anymore, right? It's like I now regard this entire thing as a sham, right? I kind of regard this as a sham. So give your points, get through it and stuff like this. But yeah, it kind of changes things, and
But people people were proud and glad and happy to not see you stoop down. You were saying thank you, and you didn't once insult. It wasn't like that at all. Now afterwards, people might be surprised, David. You had some really fruitful, beneficial conversations with large groups of Muslims.
We hung out for three and a half hours.
So who's we? David Wood and 60 Muslims?
It was a bunch of different groups, right? So at first people are coming up to me for selfies and stuff. The Christians who were there. And first we're on stage, then they kick us off the stage, right? Because we're in a big place. So they kick us off stage. So then we're in the seats section, and then they tell us to get out of there. So we go out into the foyer, and then we're out there, and
what were you guys talking about?
Well, in the foyer, then Ali Dawa was coming up to me, and he's trying to get me to say that I would kill kids, right?
Wait, hold on.
This is something from years ago where we're at a debate and Adnan Rashid starts asking me, well, what if God commanded you to kill kids? Wow. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm a psychopath. In some world where God commanded me to kill kids, I'd be killing kids, right?
Well, you just said it for Ali Dawa. Thanks, bro.
No, I said it to him there, right? I said, look, here's what I know what I am, right? Just so people know, right? There were Nazis who were throwing kids into furnaces and stuff like this, right? I mean, they were gassing.
Can we go to the next question?
No, the point here is I don't do that sort of thing because I'm not allowed, right? I am commanded to love everyone, to harm no one, to live in peace with everyone. If I were in some alternative, and I said, you know, if I believed in Islam, I'd be a jihadi. There's nothing holding me back from doing that. If I had been a Nazi, I would have been killing people. There's nothing inside of me that stops me from doing that, except that I'm a Christian, right? So that's what he wants me to say, so he can go post that, and I'm fine with that, right? And you know, I know as soon as he posts a Muslim, David Wood admits he would kill kids, blah blah blah, because that's how they roll. But you have to do it.
You were having a good conversation with other guys, and that's all he's doing. So he's kind of
So that's what he does. That's the style, right?